Hi, Piki. How are you? Good to see you and good to see everyone here. Since morning, I have been having a singular focus to make sure that I arrive at this venue on time and I can feel my heart beating fast. But how can you be so sure? From the morning time I've got up, I have taken at least 2,000 steps. Really? To reach and meet my colleague who drove me here. Yeah. I had a very excellent drive, and it was a very exciting drive. Adventurous. Adventurous. Right. But it is not the cause of my heartbeat. What's important is that right now on my cell phone, I have noted that I've taken 2,000 steps since morning. And there are about 350 odd guests who have registered for this event. And my heart is beating at about 120 beats per minute. Right? This is what is called digital immersion and digital singularity. If you recall yesterday when we visited this place, we did witness a human skeleton, skull, being printed in this premises through digital printing. And I'm sure in the next few years, or maybe next few, what we are going to witness is that whatever thought process is going on in the minds of the audience here about what we are going to speak about, it'll be visible on my cell phone. That's scary. That's the direction the world is moving. The world is moving towards singularity, and I think you have heard about this term in the past. Well, I've heard about the concept, but it would be great if you can talk about it a little more, about what it really means. Oh, it means a lot, many things, but you can summarize it into three parts. The first is there is a convergence that is happening between human experience and digital omnipresence, technology omnipresence. The second factor that it is unleashing creativity on the part of human being. And third is, because of that, it is making yourself realize your own potential to a larger extent. And the roadmap of going towards this singularity is very clearly laid out. Right? So it seems futuristic to me still, PK. So what does the roadmap really look like? What does the route look like? Oh yeah, so it's really, if you see, over the last decade and a half, we have gone through three stages. The first stage was where we had a relationship of a master and a slave between technology and human being. Right? Then we have moved through the process of symbiosis between technology and human. What we are seeing today is that we are using technology for social media, we are using technology for many of the other initiatives which affect our day-to-day life. But going forward, you will find that technology would become more immersive and it will give you a different type of experience. Right. And we are hearing words like hyperconvergence. Right? I don't know whether you have heard about hyperconvergence. Well, I mean, yes, I've heard, and a lot of what you said, our mobiles already do. You talked about the beats per minute. I can know about the weather anywhere. I can know about the temperature of my body. I can know about the beats. But guess what you're saying is, in the future, from dishwashers to cars, we will want them to be smarter. We will want them to sort of make us more aware of our surroundings, of ourselves, and take better decisions. Is that what you're going to? Exactly. So, what is happening is technology is becoming seamless. It is integrating with your own day-to-day life, and it is becoming immersive. So, like for example, today when you drive a car has all the features that are there in a smartphone, right? You can navigate. Actually, today you need not even drive a car. Right. Right. So that is immersion. That is hyperconvergence. Right. So I think one, I remember something I did in New York. This was last year, talking about immersion. I was walking on the streets of New York and I was using the Google Glass. How many of you have used that before?
Has anybody used Google Glass? Right. So before I used that, I had to ask people where to go. But this time, I didn't even have to ask that. I knew where the exact route to Madison Square Garden was.
And, if you go to some of the retail stores nowadays, or even, have you heard about virtual banking branches where you can go into a bank? There is virtual tellers available. You can execute a banking transaction all in a virtual environment.
Right. You're talking
That's augmented reality.
Right.
You have heard about it.
Yeah, you're talking about holograms and interacting with that.
Yes. And not only holograms, even augmented reality is a combination of hologram and other displays that enable you to experience the same thing as you would experience in real life.
Right.
So that's augmented reality. So today, if you want to buy, let's say, a new apartment, you can go to an architect and you can get a complete experience of your new apartment, how it will look and feel, right? How will be the light, the sunlight coming in. So that's augmented reality. So it is giving you an experience without actually going into the physical world. Right.
So I think we can do so much more individually now that we could do ever before. What I've seen working in an international firm like ours is that we have broken the international boundaries. In a team, for example, a manager will sit out of the US, the developer might be out of Moldova, the architecture expert you were talking about can be based out of India or the UK. So a team now is more geographically spread, but equally efficient than physically present teams were. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, so, I think what you're referring to is what we call as gig economy.
Okay.
What it is doing is it is breaking down transboundary borders. Today, whatever be the size of your business, whatever be the size of your operation, you can compete on a level playing field with the large multinationals, right? The technology provides you that advantage. So what that is spawning is a large number of people who are more or less freelancers, who are doing their own business independently, and they are competing very, very efficiently and effectively with large organization. And it is expected that over the next 4 to 5 years, more than 2.2 billion people would be doing business on these type of models. So that is another advantage of the new digital economy that is emerging.
That's very interesting. I mean, what do you think will happen to the bigger organizations? It seems like we are breaking them vertically down.
Oh, yes.
What do you think will happen to the value chain?
So if you look at most organizations today, they are undergoing what is called digital transformation. So we have surveyed a number of CIOs in the US and UK, and we have found about 70 to 80% of them are involved in transforming their organization so that it becomes more digitally relevant, and they are training their people, right? The value chain, the service delivery value chain is getting highly digitalized, right? So organizations are transforming, and this again is opening up a significant amount of opportunities for service providers who are knowledgeable about this technology and who can service these type of clients and help them in breaking up the service delivery value chain.
Right. So what you're saying is better customer experience, more immersive customer experience. What you're talking about is very fast time to market for the product.
Absolutely. So it's very interesting time that we are living in, and I think the future is here. Digital singularity is enabling us begin a new era. It will free human creativity and deliver opportunity for all. But
that sounds very exciting, PK. But I do have a list of 6 questions still. The first being, are we ready to take advantage of these opportunities? How can we use AR, and in what ways can we use AR to influence a customer, to change their experience, to integrate with us even more? How can we harness power of intelligent automation? We have heard a lot about that and we'll be hearing, but how can we harness the power of automation? Are we ready to expand our markets through transboundary communities? And given this, there's so much change and so much differences than what happened yesterday, are we ready to manage the risk? And most importantly, what support will Moldova require to be a leader in this new age?
I think you have asked very relevant questions. The reality is that we have to move towards digital world, leveraging digital technologies. That's the only way to survive, and that is the only way to remain relevant, right? And I think, I am excited, because I know there are a number of speakers here, very knowledgeable on this field, and over the whole day, I believe there will be a lot of deliberation on these subjects, right, in different forums. I'm very excited to, I just can't wait to hear about those. So let's not come in the way between the speakers and the audience, and, let's step aside and let the speakers share their visions.
All right.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.